Good afternoon, Cathrin, and welcome. Briefly introducing Cathrin, she serves as Managing Partner and Head of Healthcare at CVC Capital Partners, which she joined in July 2016. She is currently a board member of Theramex, Recordati, and Serbia. So, Cathrin, jumping straight in. And so, what have been some of the challenges you've had to face over these years? Can you share with us how you were able to overcome some of them?
Sure. I think when I started off, the challenge was being taken seriously as a sort of young woman in the industry, not just in healthcare, but actually also in financial services. And back then, there weren't the sort of gender and diversity programs that are in place today. So for much of my career, there were very few women in the industry, sort of less than sort of 5% through most cases. For me, it was a real step change actually when I joined JP Morgan, because there they actually had a very, very good diversity and inclusion program and did a huge amount to sponsor gender promotion internally. And so that was actually a wonderful experience, and I got to work with some absolutely fantastic women across the globe there. And it's an industry that's actually quite tough often for women to join, because you usually join in your late 20s or early 30s, which is actually at a time where often women are thinking about starting their families as well. But actually, private equity is very much an industry of experience. And so actually being here through the long term and actually building that skill set of different capabilities is incredibly important and valuable. So my message to a lot of the women that I've worked with is that actually, as you invest as you go along, yes, at times managing and juggling everything is challenging, but actually the rewards are tremendous, and the satisfaction of building some of these great businesses and going on them through the journey is incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. And many, through the network, many sources have pointed to you, pointed me towards you as being an ambassador also for women's health and well-being. Maybe you can talk to me a little bit about how you're contributing to that as well, maybe through the portfolio companies.
Sure, and women's health has always been an incredibly important area for me, both sort of personally and from an investment standpoint. And I think it's partly because it's such an underrepresented part of the pharmaceutical industry. The majority of the industry is dominated by men. The majority of the products that have been developed historically were developed with a focus on initially men's diseases. And really, over the last 20 years, there's been a lack of investment and innovation actually into the sector. And yet here we are today with more and more women in the workplace, some more and more fantastic women actually achieving tremendous ambitions through be it sporting achievement, or be it actually work achievement or scientific achievement, and through the arts. And yet actually we're almost an afterthought when it comes to actually having better control over our health. And that's from the very earliest things, such as improving actually our sort of menstrual cycle, ensuring we have better control over that actually it's not conflicting with a great sporting event or actually with a great set of exams that's important to you, so that you can contain and manage that through the course of a year. Ensuring that you can actually better elect when you actually want to be getting pregnant, when, choosing to actually have IVF if you've chosen to have children later, to support you in that process should you want to. Also ensuring that some of the benign, very painful conditions like endometriosis and uterine fibroids can be addressed. And I think finally, the sort of great frontier is really menopause, where today, we're approaching 2025, where over 1.25 billion people will turn into a menopausal woman. And having 1.25 billion women in menopause is probably something to address, not just for the women, but also for the men around them as well. So I think ensuring that we can actually live a more productive, healthier, and more impactful life, where women, just when they've got to that age of great and maximum experience, aren't feeling so ragged and exhausted that they can't go to that final level, I think is also really important. So it's that full life cycle of health within women that actually I'm very keen to investigate and promote. And so much so, we bought a company in the space called Theramex, which was a carve out we did initially from Teva, where we carved out a collection of products across the world outside of North America. And we pulled together a fabulous team led by the wonderful Rob Stewart from Allergan. And underneath him, we're actually adding and licensing additional new products. So within 2 years' time, I think we will be one of the leaders actually in menopause treatments across the world. We will have a portfolio of natural hormones for use in actually controlling contraception and also some of the unpleasant benign malignancies, as well as an exciting pipeline of new products coming through for osteoporosis as well. So I think across the board, we've actually made a real commitment to the space, trying to provide an educational portal for women, as well as actually a therapeutic intervention.
Wow, that's an impressive platform. Looking forward to following the results of Theramex. And then just finally, why do you think, or companies are maybe more confident, or should I say less reluctant, than to see women in leadership? Do you think there's anything you can point your finger to in maybe the last 5-10 years or so that's maybe helped promote women further in the roles such as yourself and around you?
I think that the generation that actually is coming through today has grown up with women in the workplace. So be it their wives, be it their sisters, or they're now seeing their daughters coming through. And so because increasing numbers have entered in the workplace and remained in the workplace, it's no longer this sort of unknown fear factor, if you like, around it. I think that's sort of number one. I think number two, that actually if you look at those most successful companies out there, they are companies that have diversity of thought. And you don't have that diversity of thought around the C-suite if every single member of that team, is the sort of same, phenotype, put it that way. So I think you look at successful companies, those that are continuing to innovate, those that are continuing to lead, particularly in those sectors that I think will have increasing disruption and therefore need to adapt around it. Healthcare, very much one of those. I think it's attracted more women into it. It's retaining more women. We still need to see more women get to the most senior levels because we don't have quite enough there. But I also think there's become a greater support system and acceptance to allowing flexibility to women through their career as well. So if there are periods where they need to either take a break for family reasons or actually to have additional support, I think we're now finally providing a culture, an environment that supports that as well.
Thank you very much, Cathrin, for sharing your thoughts with us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing the future. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.